Good evening. You're watching the news tonight, your daily roundup of all that has happened across India and the world. I'm Ishan Russell, and these are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. Opposition party leaders from Jammu and Kashmir meet President Pranab Mukherjee. Former State Chief Minister Omar Abdullah says that the central government has worsened the situation by refusing to acknowledge it as a political problem. Arun Jaitley criticizes the Nehruvian model of development, says 1991 reforms were born of bankruptcy, calls Narasimha Rao a conservative who acted out of compulsion. Finance Minister says moderate taxes and evasion can't coexist, tells industry to pay its taxes and repay the loans it takes from banks. Urjit Patel to be the next governor of RBI. The 52-year-old current deputy governor has worked with the International Monetary Fund and is an expert on inflation. And Usain Bolt becomes the only man to complete a triple treble in the Olympics after winning a third gold medal for Jamaica in the 100-meter relay event. Ends Olympic career claiming 9 gold medals. Our top story this evening, opposition leaders from Jammu and Kashmir met President Pranab Mukherjee at his residence today. Raising the issue of the ongoing unrest in the Kashmir Valley, the delegation urged the president to impress upon the centre to find an immediate solution to the crisis. They added that the problem in Kashmir is a political one and must be dealt with politically and not administratively.
As the curfew in Kashmir entered the 43rd day, a delegation of opposition parties from the state met President Pranab Mukherjee on Saturday. Led by former Chief Minister Omar Abdullah, the delegation requested the president to urge upon the central government to find a solution to the Kashmir crisis politically rather than administratively.
We have requested the president to use his good offices to get the government of India to acknowledge that basically the root cause of what is happening today lies in the politics of Jammu and Kashmir, and the solution also must be found politically, not administratively, and not through the use of force. This is what we have, the position that all political parties took with the president, and we do hope that there will be a positive outcome from our visit here.
Omar also stressed that continued delay to engage with the people of the state will further deepen the sense of alienation in the valley and can have serious long-term implications on peace and stability in the state.
Over the last couple of days, we have found that an effort is being made to crush the ongoing agitation in Jammu and Kashmir by heaping more misery on the people. People who today are undergoing their 43rd day of restrictions and curfew are having further restrictions placed on them, with the sale of petroleum and other products being banned, with the movement of ambulances to hospitals being affected, with stringent curfew measures being enforced. All that is happening is that more and more people are being driven out onto the streets, and the problem is getting worse.
Other leaders in the delegation also urged the president to use his influence on the state as well as the union government to stop the use of lethal force against civilians in the valley.
ये महज लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन नहीं है जिसको एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिवली डील किया जाए, बल्कि हमारा ये मानना है कि आज तक दोनों सरकारें, मरकजी सरकार और रियासती सरकार ने वो सब कुछ नहीं किया जिससे उस मसले का हल निकल सकता था। लेकिन बदकिस्मती यही है कि आज तक उन्होंने इस मसले की तह तक जांच करने की भी कोशिश नहीं की, जानने की भी कोशिश नहीं की, और इसलिए हमने प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया से कहा एक तो पॉलिटिकल सवाल है ये, इसका पॉलिटिकल हल निकालने के लिए पॉलिटिकल प्रोसेस चाहिए, हर शेड के ओपिनियन को इन्वॉल्व किया जाना चाहिए। दूसरा, एक्सेसिव यूज ऑफ फोर्स इंक्लूडिंग पैलेट गन, उस पर पाबंदी लगनी चाहिए।
जो स्थिति इस वक्त वादी के अंदर है वो बड़ी गंभीर स्थिति है, इसको डील करने की जरूरत है, लोगों को ऊन करने की जरूरत है। ये मसला एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव मसला नहीं है, इसको पॉलिटिकली डील करने की जरूरत है।
Meanwhile, mobile phone services were partially restored in Kashmir on Saturday, even as normal life remained paralyzed for the 43rd day due to curfew. The shutdown in the valley will continue as a precautionary measure as separatists have extended their agitation till the 25th of August. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley touched a raw nerve with the Congress on Saturday when he said that the Nehruvian model had led to no development. Jaitley was also critical of former Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao, saying he was a conservative and the economic policies brought by him were largely due to bankruptcy. Jaitley also said that moderate taxes and high tax evasion cannot coexist.
A nerve with the Congress party on Saturday when he said that former Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao wasn't the economic messiah people believe he is. Rao is widely seen as the initiator of economic reforms in the country. He also said that the UPA government had neglected productivity, even saying that the post-independence Nehruvian model had led to no development at all.
स्वतंत्रता के बाद जो आर्थिक रास्ता हम लोगों ने अपनाया था, वो अपने आप में बहुत विकास के रास्ते पे इस देश को ले जाता, वो रास्ता नहीं था। और शायद यही कारण है कि स्वतंत्रता के बाद जो पहले 3-4 दशक रहे, उसमें 1-1.5-2%, बहुत हुआ तो 2.5% ग्रोथ हो गई। We were actually impacted by the Nehruvian thought. और हमें लगता था कि कुछ काम ऐसे हैं सिर्फ सरकार करेगी।
The Congress was quick to retaliate, saying the NDA government's own record was dismal as far as economic growth was concerned.
ये बिल्कुल गलत बात है। हिंदुस्तान आगे बढ़ा है। अगर तुलनात्मक दृष्टिकोण से देखें जो दूसरे देश हैं, किस देश का वो जिक्र करते हैं। पर जहाँ तक भारत का सवाल है, यूपीए के 10 साल में यूपीए 1 और यूपीए 2, पहले तो 1991 से जो उदारीकरण हुआ, रिफॉर्म्स हुए, वो कांग्रेस ने आरंभ किए। पर यूपीए के शासनकाल के अंदर भारत की जीडीपी चौगुनी हुई।
The finance minister also said that his government can think of a lower tax regime only when more and more people pay their share of taxes, saying tax evasion and moderate tax rates cannot coexist. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, amid intense speculation over the rate of the goods and services tax, Finance Minister Jaitley has said moderate taxes and high tax evasions cannot coexist. The minister said when he
देश में जितने टैक्स पेयर हैं, अगर सभी टैक्स अपना पूरा देने लग पड़े तो आपकी उम्मीद को भी बेहतर कर सकते हैं। मतलब इसमें स्पष्ट है, द मोर द इवेजन द हायर विल बी द रेट, द मोर द एग्जेम्पशंस द हायर विल बी द रेट। इसलिए मॉडरेट रेट्स और इवेजन साथ साथ नहीं कोएग्जिस्ट कर सकते। मैंने कहा 2 अपेक्षाएं हैं। The first is that taxes which are due must be paid. And the second is, when you take money from banks, also please return it appropriately.
The minister said when more people evade taxes, it brings in aberration in tax structures. The proposed uniform taxation regime, the GST, will integrate the country into one single market by ensuring a free flow of goods and services across the country. The GST will ensure that taxation rates are moderate, bringing down the cost of doing business. This will in turn bring down the cost for end consumers. The peak GST rate will be finalized by the proposed GST Council comprising the Finance Minister and his state counterparts. The Chief Economic Advisor has suggested an 18% peak rate. Now, Urjit Patel has been appointed as the 24th Governor of the Reserve Bank of India. Patel, who is the sitting Deputy Governor, will take over when the incumbent Raghuram Rajan's term comes to an end in the first week of September. 52-year-old Patel has been serving the central bank for more than 3 years. He received his doctorate in economics from the Yale University and MPhil from Oxford and has also worked with the International Monetary Fund. He is known as an expert on inflation. As Deputy Governor, he headed the RBI panel to draft the monetary policy report, which became the basis for the ongoing reforms at the Apex Bank. Prime Minister Modi held bilateral talks with Deputy Prime Ministers of Russia and Nepal today. The Russian Deputy Prime Minister Dmitry Rogozin and Modi discussed key aspects of bilateral ties shared by both countries. During the meet, the Prime Minister reaffirmed India's time-tested ties with Moscow and called the nation as a reliable friend. He also assured India's commitment to strengthen and deepen bilateral ties with Russia across all domains. The Prime Minister also met the Deputy Prime Minister of Nepal, Bimalendra Nidhi. Both held talks on issues of mutual importance. Nidhi is in India as a special envoy of the newly elected Nepalese Prime Minister Prachanda. The new Nepal government is trying to reset its ties with India. The flood situation in Madhya Pradesh is quite grim. Districts of Rewa, Satna and Panna are underwater. 15 people have died due to heavy rains and floods. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan called an emergency meeting to review the heavy rainfall and flood situation in the state. Meanwhile, the levels of the Ganga has created flood-like situations in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh.
The Rewa district of Madhya Pradesh, where incessant rains have flooded the roads and residential areas for the past 3 days. An army helicopter is rescuing people stranded in the affected areas. Satna and Panna districts are also facing a similar situation. Several villages have been inundated, forcing thousands to seek shelter in relief camps. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan called for an emergency meeting to review the situation. He also assured help to all victims and asked people to heed rain alerts.
जो नुकसान हुआ है बाढ़ से और अतिवृष्टि से, उसके आकलन में अभी समय लगेगा. वो आकलन करके राहत की व्यवस्था हम करेंगे. भारी वर्षा की चेतावनी भी कुछ जिलों में दी गई है. उन सभी जिलों में हमने एसडीआरएफ की टीम, जिला प्रशासन सबको सतर्क कर दिया है. सभी आवश्यक व्यवस्थाएं जुटाई जा रही है. स्थिति चिंताजनक है, गंभीर है, लेकिन प्रशासन पूरी तरह से सजग है. हम लोग लगे हुए हैं.
The Ganga flooded parts of Patna with a spike in water levels, putting several districts on alert. The National Disaster Response Force teams are on alert with the water flowing above danger mark. The rise in water levels has created flood-like situations in Allahabad, with the water entering residential areas. Several other districts in UP are also reeling under flood as incessant rain has crippled normal life.
पानी भर गया है और सब लोग अपना अपना जो है छत पे चढ़े हुए हैं. कोई कुछ भूखों मर रहे हैं. बहुत परेशानी हो रही है.
आज मुझे जो सूचना मिली है कि जमुना जी में बढ़ाव शुरू हुआ, इससे गंगा जी में बढ़ाव शुरू हो गया है और इस समय 1 से 1.5 सेंटीमीटर प्रति घंटा की रफ्तार से गंगा जी पुनः बढ़ रही है.
While continuous rains in Odisha have triggered the possibility of floods in many areas, farmers in Maharashtra incurred heavy losses due to incessant rains. Meanwhile, the Met Department has predicted heavy rainfall in West Bengal, Jharkhand, Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Some more national news stories now nationwide. The Gujarat government is forming a special investigation team to investigate the 4-year-old firing incident at Tangarh, where 3 Dalit youths were killed. Chief Minister Vijay Rupani said he received several representations from Dalit leaders requesting the same. The government also decided to form a special designated court and appoint a special public prosecutor to expedite the case. It also announced an additional compensation of 2 lakh rupees to the nearest kin of each of the victims over and above what was decided earlier. The Kerala government dropped its move to start online liquor sales during the Onam festival after facing flack from all quarters. Putting to rest the row over the proposed move to introduce online foreign liquor trade, the government made it clear that no such decision has been taken. Attacking the government over the issue, opposition leader Ramesh Chennithala said that the LDF government initiative in the sector was in favour of encouraging liquor consumption in Kerala. Seven persons were killed and 3 others injured when a house collapsed in Madhya Pradesh's Sagar district. The house in Rahatgarh area of the district collapsed following incessant rains. The dead included a woman and 4 minors who were asleep when the house collapsed. The nation is remembering former Prime Minister late Rajiv Gandhi on his 72nd birth anniversary today. President Pranab Mukherjee, former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi paid tributes to Rajiv Gandhi at Veer Bhumi in New Delhi. Time for us to take a short break. Lots more on the other side. Do stay tuned.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Some sports now, and India's only woman golfer Aditi Ashok finished her Rio campaign today tied at 52nd place. Aditi, the youngest in the field at Rio at 18 years, started her maiden Olympic campaign on a high with an impressive 3 under 68 to finish tied 7th after the opening round. But by the end of the second round, the Bangalore teenager was tied 8th. However, the third round did not go according to plan as she dropped 23 places to be tied 31st. Although Aditi did not finish at the podium but has shown enough spark to be considered a long-term prospect. And Usain Bolt ended his Olympic career by claiming an unprecedented triple treble as his 9th gold, and Jamaica won the 4x100 meter relay final in Rio. Bolt had won the 100 meters and the 200 meters in Rio and is the only man to win all 3 sprint events at 3 games.
Lightning Bolt struck the Olympic field one last time as he helped Jamaica win the 4x100 meters relay final. The Jamaican ended his Olympic career by claiming an unprecedented triple-triple with 9 gold medals. The 29-year-old is the only man to win the 100 meters, 200 meters and the 4x100 meters relay event at 3 games in a row.
And the United States have finished third on the eve of his 30th birthday.
The Jamaican team lifted the gold in a time of 37.27 seconds. Japan won a surprise silver and the USA were disqualified to hand Canada bronze.
It's just dedication. I've always wanted more. I was never satisfied with what I had. I always wanted more, and I kept on pushing myself because I wanted to be the greatest.
Meanwhile, defending champions United States won the women's Olympic 4x200 meters relay, with Allyson Felix becoming the first woman to collect 5 gold medals in athletics. Jamaica took the silver, while Britain won bronze. In hockey, Great Britain's women won their first Olympic hockey gold after beating defending champions Netherlands in a dramatic penalty shootout. After the final finished 3-3 in normal time, Britain won the shootout 2-0.
You know, and this is the ultimate ambition to win an Olympic gold medal, and the team have been absolutely fantastic. We've had a great tournament and we deserve this.
In football, Germany won their first ever Olympic gold in women's football with a superior second half performance to beat Sweden 2-1. Germany are now one of the only 3 women's teams to win both the Olympic and World Cup. Canada took the bronze after beating host Brazil 2-1. In basketball, the United States continued their quest for gold with a scrappy 82-76 win over Spain to reach the finals of the men's tournament for the 3rd straight Olympics. They will now face Serbia in Sunday's final after they beat Australia 87-61 to reach their first Olympic final. In the overall medal standings on day 14, the United States leads the table with 105 medals that include 38 gold, 35 silver and 32 bronze. Britain stands at the 2nd spot with 24 golds, while China is in the 3rd place with 22 gold. Meanwhile, India jumped to the 64th spot in the medal tally after ace shuttler PV Sindhu secured a silver in the badminton finals on Friday. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time for us to take another short break. Lots more on the other side. Do stay tuned.
desert, and that too extreme. Only the fittest can survive here. This is the great Indian Thar Desert, and these are the world-famous shifting sand dunes of the Thar. They appear like fast-moving waves at the seashore, but it is not the sea, it is the desert. These shifting sand dunes of the Thar are located at a tricky and highly volatile spot along the international border with Pakistan. With strong surface winds during the summer months, these sand dunes change their locations almost overnight.
What do you think are our major challenges in terms of higher education?
Major challenge is improper recognition of what an education costs. I feel that the government is not investing enough in higher education. A lot of our problems can be addressed very effectively by science. I think a career in science is a tremendous privilege to have.
Watch Eureka with Professor Ram Ramaswamy, President, Indian Academy of Sciences, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Now, the US military today slashed the number of intelligence advisors directly supporting the Saudi-led coalition's air war in Yemen. The announcement was made by the US Navy after concerns over civilian casualties in the war-torn country. US Navy spokesperson Lieutenant Ian McCarney said, told media persons that since June, the size of the American service personnel has now been brought to less than 5 from a team of 45 to participate in the Joint Combined Planning Cell. The planning cell was set up in 2015 to focus on logistics, air-to-air refueling of coalition warplanes and intelligence support. However, this decision does not impact support to the Saudi-led coalition. The Arab coalition began air raids and later sent in ground troops to support the internationally recognized government of President Mansour Hadi after the Houthi rebels and their allies overran much of Yemen. Saudi Arabia claims the rebels are backed by its Shiite regional rival, Iran. The coalition says it uses accurate laser and GPS-guided weapons, many of them supplied by the US, and that it verifies targets many times in order to avoid civilian casualties. Yet, allegations of strikes on civilian facilities have continued. A number of rights groups have accused the Arab coalition of indiscriminate bombings. The Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump has once again reached out to the African-American voters, vowing to restore law and order and increase job opportunities. Trump's outreach is part of his efforts to raise his single-digit standing with one of America's largest minority groups. Trump also attacked his Democratic rival Hillary Clinton and vowed to protect the jobs of minorities from immigrants. Hillary leads Trump by 8 percentage points among likely voters. Clinton has the support of the African-American community and won the Democratic nomination in part thanks to her large victory margins among minorities in nearly every state.
By Hillary Clinton's policies than African Americans. No group. If Hillary Clinton's goal was to inflict pain on the African American community, she could not have done a better job. It's a disgrace.
Some more international news now on Global Buzz. The 304 rescued migrants and bodies of 5 people who drowned after their boat capsized in the Mediterranean have reached Sicily. The accident took place off the coast of Libya when a boat was trying to carry war refugees to Europe. More than 500 migrants were also rescued from overcrowded and unsafe boats in the seas between Libya and Italy on Thursday. Typhoon Dianmu has left 1 dead and injured 14 others in southwest China's Yunnan province. The typhoon swept across the region on Friday, bringing heavy rainfall and high winds. The rainstorm that lasted till early hours of Saturday caused extensive crop damage and also damage to houses and shops, and also caused blackouts. Power in the affected region has been partly restored. Turkey's parliament on Saturday approved a reconciliation agreement signed with Israel in June, bringing a 6-year rift between them to an end. Relations between the two countries crumbled after Israeli Marines stormed a Turkish ship in 2010 to enforce a naval blockade of the Hamas-run Gaza Strip, killing 10 Turks on board. Russian naval and land forces conducted joint drills on Friday, moving military hardware and troops to annexed Crimea. The drills are part of a logistics exercise ahead of the much larger war games planned on the peninsula for next month. Meanwhile, the US and Ukraine, in a phone call, urged a speedy resolution to the conflict with pro-Russian separatists amid a spike in tensions with Moscow. Two soldiers were killed and 8 wounded in 24 hours in Ukraine's rebel-held eastern region. Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko said on Thursday that he did not rule out introducing martial law and a new wave of military mobilization if the conflict with pro-Russian separatists worsened. Well, that's news tonight. Good night.